laser.
E3, Rev 3 Games at the Vivid Touch booth. We are about to talk about Assassin's Creed 4, a decidedly different take on this venerable franchise. Ashraf Ismail, game director for Assassin's Creed 4, is joining us here. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Before we start running the video, I do want to kind of focus on, you know, there were some complaints that some people had that Assassin's Creed 3, with as much promise of doing something different, still felt very familiar to what Assassin's Creed had done. I've actually seen a fair amount of Assassin's Creed 4, and it really does seem like a very, very different game. What's your overall arching goal with this one?
You know, when we started this game, we wanted to make a pirate game. We wanted to make a true, authentic pirate game, so that was one part. The other part was we wanted to surprise fans. We wanted to give them a world that they're not used to seeing from us, a world that pushed us out of our comfort zone. You know, we know how to build cities, but building natural environments, building a naval world where all of it comes together and it's mostly seamless, and this was really out of our comfort zone. But we knew we wanted to do something like this to surprise the fans, to bring something new to the brand. Here at E3, we're showing off our booth demo, which shows off the Caribbean open world, and just how vivid it is.
It's really not just an open world; it's an open ocean.
It's an open ocean. Yeah, totally. It's, you know, a lot of people ask us how big is it in terms of size. We don't talk about terms of size because it is a lot of ocean. What we'd rather say is, you know, we have over 50 locations, 3 of them being major cities, and of course we have forts, underwater locations, shipwrecks, plantations. It runs the gamut. And then we have even like little uncharted sandbanks. These we don't count. We have over 75 of those. So the world has tons of content. It took us a long time. It was very challenging to build this world, but now that we have it, you know, the feeling of exploration, that the feeling of being in the Caribbean is phenomenal. We're really proud of it. We want people to come check it out because it really feels, you know, you have the comforts of AC, but it feels like a brand new world that you're exploring.
Well, let's take a look at it and get a taste. So what's kind of the setting? I can't recall which city this demo begins in.
So actually, we're going to be looking at the Sony stage demo. This is not in a city. This is a pirate camp and a jungle location. Right. This is actually based off of a historic event where Blackbeard was hunted by the British. So we're kind of telling our version of that tale, obviously with Edward now a core character in this moment. So what we're seeing here is that they know something's happening. They know there's a couple spies in their midst, and they're trying to flush him out. They kind of figure, okay, this guy looks suspicious, so they go after him.
What was the challenge in trying to do a story with such well-known characters like Blackbeard, though they've almost turned into kind of cartoons and separated from the actual historical character? I mean, you kind of need to fulfill the pirate fantasy, but you guys are trying to ground this in actual history.
Exactly, and the thing was, when we started researching the Republic of Pirates, these real characters like Blackbeard and Benjamin Hornigold and Calico Jack, what we found was the real people were so interesting. They, you know, Blackbeard created a persona for himself. He's not some crazy killer. He actually abhorred killing. So he created a persona called Blackbeard to scare people so that he didn't have to fight them, that they would give up right away. And we felt this was really important to tell that side of the story because it's super interesting. So we do go into the more authentic aspect of it. Of course, you know, throwing the Assassins and Templars and Edward into the mix. It's not a true history of things, but we try to stay very accurate.
It's Assassin's Creed history.
Of course, it's Assassin's Creed history. But you know what? If this pushes people to do research on pirates, that's awesome.
One of the things I was really struck by when I was watching the demo is the way that the palm and all the fronds are actually reacting to his movement. I've been asking this of everyone. I mean, are these the aspects of the game that, you know, the new technology and new processing power is affording you guys? Yeah, exactly.
So the jungle environment, it's one of these environments that from the beginning we wanted it to feel dense and claustrophobic, but to also give it life and show that it reacts to the player. And so with the next gen, we're able to, you know, we have physics that's applied to the plants, which is, you know, normally you wouldn't do that kind of stuff. You would save it for just the hero or just cloth, stuff like this. So the jungle environment, you know, we've made it super dense. Everything reacts to the player. There's physics on all this stuff, and yes, it's because of the next gen.
The combat also, or I guess the stealth combat we're looking at right here, seems faster than what I'm accustomed to. I don't know if I'm just sort of reading into it because of the environment or not, but.
No, we've actually tweaked. If you can see, when Edward comes out of the stock, we call it a stalking zone. When he comes out, he is a bit faster. We did want to make, you know, everything we do in this game, from the naval from jumping from location to location, even the stealth and the combat. And you'll see here the 4 guns. The goal was to make everything fluid and fast.
Right. I mean, it really seems. I don't want to say it's just chaining, but it doesn't seem like, okay, I'm going to do stealth now. I'm going to do
exactly. We wanted everything to merge together because what player agency is super important for us. A goal in this game was to allow the player to play the game as they wish, which means removing any barriers like slowing down, like having to control the character differently.
I think we're about to get to a point that I found to be probably the most impressive about this game. Getting on the boat, yes. This is not a transition as it was in Assassin's Creed 3. This really is right there in game and it's seamless.
Exactly. We knew if we were to build a true, unique and fresh Caribbean open world that had tons of locations, we knew we could not stop the player by having a loading screen, by having a cinematic, something that breaks the immersion. It's important that players can play in the game as they wish. If you see a beach, you can just jump on there, explore it, because discovery and exploration is super important in this game. Everything you find in this world has gameplay value, either for Edward or for the Jackdaw, which you see here. It's the second main character of the game. We do spend a lot of time on the Jackdaw.
Now, one of the reasons that we don't tend to see gameplay like this with boats is that it tends to not work very well. I'm curious sort of what you're allowing the player to do, where obviously the challenge of trying to move a boat that's that big, but still keep the game fun.
Yeah.
How is this working?
Well, you know, at the end of the day, we are a game. We're not a sailing simulator. We're not asking people.
Thank you for that.
You know, we're not asking people to tack with wind. No, the controls are fairly comfortable. Of course, a mastery that we have in this brand is making stuff look credible, but have it be easy to use. You know, even all the free running and parkouring that the characters do, you can argue that could be very complex, but it's actually not. And it's the same for the naval stuff. The philosophy remains. It's really more about having a fun, fluid experience rather than being too bogged down with the controls. We have added a lot of skill elements though, so the strategy of fighting in the naval is where skill is required. You know, how do you take down that man of war? What weapons should I use? How should I upgrade the Jackdaw? These are what we want players to think about. We don't want them getting caught up in, you know, how do I use wind? How do I tack? All this stuff.
And then also, you can go on the boat really at any time in the game. And you've explained in the past that the naval battles, they can just happen. Like yes. You know, the boats are out there, and you just may find yourself in one, even if it isn't in mission.
Exactly, and this is what we want. We actually would love that people are going to a mission, they're in between missions, they're in the world, and then 30 minutes passes and they're nowhere near their mission start, they're somewhere else because the game pulled them and teased them and motivated them to attack other ships, to plunder. And this is a huge philosophy we have. You know, we look at our own games like Far Cry 3. We love Far Cry 3, they did some amazing systemic stuff, the upgrade system is great, but the way they got the player to be lost in the world, we took a page from their book. We actually brought a bunch of those developers into our team. And so they're helping us with the systemic world part to really get the player to play in the world, plunder different ships, find different locations, you know, go harpooning, whatever the player wishes.
So I have one more final question. I have a feeling I'm not going to get the clearest of answers on it. You can just see in this demo there that the Animus, you know, the science fiction wrapping of Assassin's Creed, which I think, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but you know, there's a case could be made you would not have to see that in Assassin's Creed 4. I mean, are we still dealing with that overarching story, Assassin's Creed 4?
You know what, Adam, because you're such an awesome guy, I'll tell you. Yes, the Animus is there. Desmond's story ended, but we continue from it. One of the progressions that has been made is that the Animus technology allows anybody to use it to jump into someone else's ancestry. So of course we're still dealing with Desmond's ancestry. Edward is the grandfather of Connor and father of Tahitham. So the new present day hero is the player. So we wanted to bring players closer into the immersion. So we do play, I'll say we play in first person. So you play in first person in Abstergo Entertainment, which is this company that's been formed to research historical figures and historical events. You don't know why. But of course there's nefarious reasons, naturally.
Yeah, there's nothing benign when it comes to this franchise.
Exactly. And the player will discover this as the characters in the game discover what's behind all this, why Edward Kenway, and there's a reason. Edward is incredibly important to the overall brand. He does something in the past that greatly impacts the Templars, the Assassins, and actually the future. So this is why they're researching his life, and the player figures this out as they go on. So the present day continues. One of the small changes we've made is that we don't go to it too many times in the main path.
Right.
But there is this open world that's called Abstergo Entertainment that you can go there freely. There's tons of content for fans. We wanted to give people who love AC lore a lot of stuff to find, a lot of content, videos and audio files. You get to see what happened to Desmond after AC3, all of this. So we're super excited for that, yeah.
All right, all right. I already was intrigued just on the Pirates alone. Now you've definitely piqued my curiosity.
Awesome.
Ash, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in the
It's a
future.
pleasure to be here,
All
yeah,
right.
for sure.